Hey guys, Billy here. I'm a multi-gladiator hunter, and this video is 2v2 gameplay of Hunter with a Holy Priest. However, there is one difference with this video, and that is that we were doing a challenge where we were trying to win without trapping. This is the first sort of challenge that I've done, so I hope you enjoy it and let me know if there are any other challenges that you'd like to see. Also, don't forget to subscribe to ensure that you won't miss out on any of the Hunter content. And you can also catch me live on Twitch at twitch.tv/Billybobbs, and you can join my Discord. I'll put the links to both of these in the description, and I hope you enjoy the video. This game we're facing Rested Druid Windwalker, so I ran up the ramp as they do as well. The Windwalker Fleshcrafts, I decided not to kick it because it's near the end of the cast anyway, and he delays coming in a bit. I start doing damage on him, put my pets on him, he Tiger's Lusts and puts his Zuin out. I use Binding Shot to root him and then disengage away, however I do get rooted. I therefore freedom myself, slow him, and then start running away down the ramp. The Rested Druid is out now, but because I can't trap, I'm just kiting away. So my priest goes in Fears, stuns the monk, and here normally I would trap off, however, well, I can't, so I get stunned, my priest grips me from the bone dust as well, and then MCs the monk on his spin. I'm now running away from the monk. The monk's just standing there for some reason, and the druid charges in. We think he's going to clone, however, he doesn't end up doing so. I'm just kiting the monk at this point. If he'd followed me here, he could have had a chance to kill me, however, he was so low he definitely would have died. So therefore he decided to stay back, and the rest of the druids just spam healing him now. He has full hots and thorns, but it doesn't really matter because I'm just doing damage to him now. I disengage away so that he cannot connect. He tries to heal himself. I get a big killshot proc, and then I kick the druid. My priest also now stuns. Again, this is normally where I'd like to trap, but yeah, obviously I cannot. The monk then teleports, and I also did a full shackle on him, which forces teleport. My priest then stuns the monk, and I'm doing normal damage to him, and the monk's now kiting away. This monk's actually kiting pretty well, so it's getting a little bit difficult for me to connect to him. However, I managed to land the flayed shot here, and I'm just doing damage to him. He then connects to my priest. He then kicks the priest, and the druid does thorns. My priest mind controls the monk and then cancels it. The monk then uses his leg sweep on my priest, along with the bone dust root and his clones. My priest manages to get away and not die. He then fears both the monk and the druid. I'm running up to the druid to make him think that I'm going to trap. The monk's so low here, so we're able to just land the kill. This game we're facing a survival hunter and a rested druid. So I'm in stealth, adding macros to my bar, because I thought to do it before the game, and then the hunter comes out and attacks my priest, puts a tar trap down as well. So I'm just cutting away from the tar trap, my priest stuns the hunter, and then I go in and stun the druid. The hunter has full hots here and also iron bark, so I'm just doing damage to him. He very DR stuns me, and the druid uses his NS heal as well. The hunter then raw sacks himself, which is way too late because all my cooldowns have ended. He's still fairly low here as I kick the rest of the druid. I'm now just doing normal damage to him. He then uses Chimera Sting on my healer and then pops cooldown, so I sack myself and then try and kite away from him. At this point I'm just kiting away. The druid tries to connect to me as well and he harpoons me. I now start hating the druid for a little bit because the hunter has full hots and the druid doesn't have any on him. The druid tries to clone, however my priest melds it. And then my hunter also tries to kick, and he does kick my priest. I'm swapping back to the hunter because the druid went loss, and now I'm kiting away from the hunter a little bit as well. He then decides to steel trap me, so I feign death it, and my priest stuns the druid with a mind gaze on him. The druid then dispels, so I shackle the hunter, and my priest shackles the rest of the druid. At this point, the hunter is very low, so he has to turtle. The druid's also low here, but he manages to top himself. The hunter's still low because my priest has mind controlled the hunter, so that the druid couldn't heal him. My priest then gets a full fear onto the rest of the druid. The hunter doesn't have feigned death or any other defensive lefts, and he's extremely low. I trinket his stun and kick the rest of the druid, and therefore we're able to land the kill here. Here we're facing Holy Pala Warrior, so I rush in, and they rush in a little bit as well. However, the warrior's a bit scared, so he runs back behind the pillar. I put my flayshot onto him, and then go around the pillar. I pop Cheeser here just to get the movement speed, and I kite up the ramp so that he cannot charge to me. I go in closer to try and trap, or try and stun the Paladin, and then I'm slowing the warrior, so I'm kiting him. My priest grips the storm bolt upstairs, the warrior leaps to me. And now I'm just doing normal damage rotation. We also get a stun onto the warrior. As soon as the paladin comes around the corner, I stun him. However, he does get a hodge onto my healer. I therefore sack the healer and kill the warrior's banner. The warrior's also popped his cooldowns here. So now we're just chilling a little bit, just doing a little bit of damage. I see that the paladin's trying to cast, so I hold my kick, and I'm just waiting because I feel like he would fake that. I now run closer. I wanted to kick that, but I was slightly too far away. Now running closer, my priest wants to fear, as they're both very close together. The paladin though sacks it, so there's no point fearing just yet. Still just doing damage to him. I get a killshot proc, and the warrior's around 50% health here. and we're just doing damage. I'm trying to keep my 3 stacks up as best I can. My priest trinketed the Paladin's Hodge into a double fear on both of them. The warrior then Berserker raged it and then used his reflection. He then tried to Fleshcraft, and I do not have kick for this, so I just pop Bestial Wrath and then do damage to him. He's still rather low as the Paladin isn't able to top him. I kick this heal at the very last second. We also get 1 Maledict onto the warrior into a full stun on the Pala. This forces his trinket, and we can see that the warrior's rally is ending soon. The Paladin isn't able to top him, and therefore as soon as the rally falls, I'm able to land a kill shot and he dies. Here we're facing Windwalker Resto Shaman. They're hiding behind the pillar and I'm waiting for them to come in. The Windwalker then comes charging in. I accidentally multi-shot as I changed the bind between multi-shot and tranquilizing shot. I put my flame shot on the Windwalker as he runs away. My priest runs around the pillar as well. The monk then uses paralysis on my monk and I try to sack him, however my pet CC'd, so therefore I Door of Shadows onto the monk and this allows my healer a few seconds to be able to get free. He then stuns the monk, and at this point he's completely fine, as he's far away and the monk's turned his attention to me. I've also binding shotted his clones so that the clones can't do anything. The monk's now also in the binding shot. He gets dispelled from the healer. And at this point I'm just kiting away from the monk. I'm trying to kill the healing tide as well. The monk's used his Fortifying Brew here and then also Fist of Fury. He then paralyzes my monk, and I stun the shaman very soon. Stun the shaman now. And at this point, I get a bit low. My healer's just coming out of CC and I sack myself. I do get scared though, and I do need to turtle. I probably could have saved that, but I prefer not to die rather than just overlap a cooldown or use one that when's not necessary. I use Knock Trap and then knock the monk away. He then comes back and roots me and then Fist of Furies again. I have Binding Shot back, so I'm aware of this and I'll use it fairly shortly on his next pop. I then Trinket this pop and then Binding Shot all of his clones. The Shaman's lava bursting onto my priest, so I just had to kick it so that my priest can stay healthy. The monk's now coming to me again, and I'm just kiting away. He's got a lot of mobility, but it's fine as long as I use my mobility correctly. The monk then uses his last defenses, which is Touch of Karma. My priest MCs the Fist of Fury, and then he MCs again. I then break through the Karma, and now I'm doing damage to the monk. At this point, my priest then runs over to the Shaman, and he fears. However, the Shaman uses Tremor Totem, so the fear breaks instantly. My priest then uses Chastise on the Shaman, and the monk uses his Port and then also rolls away from me and then uses Ring of Peace. And now I connect back to the monk and he rolls towards me. My priest is now MCing the Shaman. The monk also uses his set of clones here. My priest just grip me to help me kite away from the monk. I then disengage away and I also root him and his clones. My pet is in a root at the moment, or well, the off pet is in a root at the moment, which doesn't really matter. The monk then uses paralysis on my healer, but he connects too late and therefore my healer is just able to fly as soon as it ends. Therefore the monk comes back to me and he's extremely low here, so this forces the shaman to use his spirit link. And now disengage away from the monk again, and this makes the shaman root me so that the monk can try and connect. We chastise the monk so that he's stunned. My priest then uses Maledict, which forces the shaman to dispel. And because the monk is so low here, the shaman cannot top him, and therefore we land a kill here. Here we're facing Sub-Rogue Holy Priest. I'm in stealth, as is the rogue, so I run in to try and attack the priest and get combat, put a target down and also mark the priest. Now I found the rogue, so I start opening on the rogue, and I'm just doing normal damage to the rogue now. I pop cooldowns, I disengage away to the priest to try and bait his death or Greater Fade. He doesn't use them, but he does Guardian the rogue. I then stun the priest, and I'm still hitting the rogue, doing damage now. Cast Fade Shot, and I think about trapping, but then realise that I shouldn't and can't. I dispel the Holy Ward from the priest with my Tranquilizing Shot. At this point I'm just doing damage to the rogue, and I get a kill shot proc. I get another kill shot proc here, and I'm also kidneyed. My priest grips me away, and then the sub-rogue then starts to try and go hit my priest, but he can't reach my priest kites, and then he comes back to me. Now I disengage away and then slow him just so that I can try and kite him away. I'm holding my kick so that the priest can't feel safe to cast. The rogue then kites around the pillar and then vanishes. The priest then uses his Holy Ward on himself as well. I managed to dispel it again. And then I'm searching for the rogue. I managed to find the rogue and then put my pets back onto the rogue. The priest then Greater Fades into me, and I disengage away from the rogue again. The rogue then step kidneys me, and the priest is doing damage instead of really healing the rogue, so the rogue is still low by the time that I come out of the stun. I feign the mind games on me, and because the rogue is still low, as the priest couldn't top him, we get him below 20%, and I get a kill shot, and we land a death, and therefore he dies. Here we're facing Disc Priest with a Feral Druid. I put a flare on the pillar to try and get the Feral out, however, it doesn't quite get him out. So therefore, I just cancel my stealth and start doing damage to the priest. The Feral then opens on my priest as well. I disengage back and then swap over to the Feral. The priest doors over to me, however he doesn't disorientate me as I move out of it. The feral then war stomps me, and I kick the mind games that the priest is casting on my priest. The feral then uses his kick on my priest, and my priest mind controls the feral, which then gets dispelled by the enemy priest. I then get in-cap roared by the druid. I thought he was going to clone me, but he doesn't. He then roots me, so I freedom myself and my pets, and we also got the druid's barkskin here. So now they're doing a go onto my priest. They also get the mind games cast as I do not have a kick, and then the priest shackles as well. However, my priest is able to line the shackle. I then get full feared. At this point I'm out of line of both of them, so I can't really do much damage. I disengage in to try and start doing damage again. I managed to start doing damage now, and it doesn't matter me stacking with the priest as he doesn't have a fear. The feral then in-cap roars me again, and he's also rooted my pets. He then used Stampeding Roar, and my priest gets a double fear on both the druid and the priest. I'm just doing damage to the feral now. The feral pops a cooldown, and we also get the priest's barrier here. So now the feral is still around 50%. I kick the fleshcraft, and then he goes back into cat form to try and connect to my priest again. Their priest is also very close to me, and he's going to fear me, and I get full feared here, and I can't really help my healer. My healer dispels me, and then I sack him, as the feral is doing a little bit of damage here. The feral then also in-caps towards me, and I will stun the priest here. The feral roots my pets, so I freedom them out. They've also used PS, Survival Instincts and Barkskin here, so this is a lot of their major defensives. My priest is also completely fine as he's able to cut around the pillar as I've got a tar trap down as well. We then stun the feral and the priest gripped him to stop the mind games cast. At this point we're running around the little pillar and there's a tar trap down, so we're able to keep away, and I'm also able to keep doing damage to the feral. He then in-caps towards me again into a war stomp and then tries to clone, but I trinket the war stomp and then kick his hibernate on my pet. I have no kick now, however, so he does get a full clone here, and then they start doing damage to my priest again. They also get a mind games cast onto my priest, but my priest is able to live, and he's just cutting around the pillar again. I put another tar trap down, and they've also used PI on the feral here. Here my priest is going to get double fear. It's DR on the feral, but not on the priest, and then we chastise the feral, and we get the feral's trinket here. He's still low, however, so he uses his frenzied regen, and then I also stun the priest just after his penance cast, after kicking the cyclone. Now the feral is still low, and I start to shackle, so the priest uses his trinket, and the feral then clones me for full. We've also used the feral's barkskin here. They're now kiting to the other side of the arena where my priest is. The feral leaves his healer alone, so at this point the healer cannot connect to the feral. So I'm just able to do lots of damage to the feral. The priest is drinking, so I run over to the priest to try and stop him drinking. He stops before I manage to do damage to him, and we get a full mind games on the feral, as well as an MC to try and stop the priest's healing. Here the priest full fears me, and I kick the hibernate. This was a bad kick, because it then meant that he's able to use a full fleshcraft. He also used the frenzied regen here, so that he's fairly healthy now, and we're not able to kill just yet. They're then following my priest around the pillar again, and the feral goes back into cat form. We get a double fear on both the priest and on the feral. We get the priest's will, as he's playing undead. The feral here is very low and I have a killshot proc, so I use that, and the priest has then popped Rapture, as well as Dark Archangel. The feral here is still very low, and the priest is struggling to top him as the dampening is fairly high now. My priest then uses a maledict on the feral to try and cause some pressure and force the priest to spell. The druid tries to war stomp clone me, however he misses the war stomp, he's then regrowthing. I then kick the mind games, we chastise the priest and mind games the feral. My priest MDs my clone, we then stun the priest with an MC as well, and therefore the feral dies here. That's all for this video, and I hope you enjoyed, and thank you for watching. If there are any other videos that you'd like to see, let me know in the comments or in the Discord. Hope you have a great day. Peace out.